on the strategy of investors. What we see is that retail is still investor's darling. As we said, it's stable. Nevertheless, even when consumer confidence wasn't that strong, like it you cover today, but it was really stable performance. So, but if you invest today in retail, the yields are so low. And if you see what we do, full cost, after all costs, it's just something about 2% of a dividend. And also there's a huge demand, but there are not so many assets there, simply because the ones who have a good asset, they do not sell it. So what is then the alternative? And what we think from Bouwfonds, is managed to core. Because the non-core sector, there's still product available. Because also what we see is, I think what everyone knows, that the life cycle of shopping centers gets shorter and shorter. So there's the need to do something with the expertise. And and I think that is, at least for me, that is key. And that is also what we hear from investors, that it's a pretty good alternative to the pure core investment.
Business model of multi changed dramatically over the last years. Shifting from a merchant developer basically to an asset management platform linked to Blackstone, and of course in that sense the task, also the development task of multi, strongly shifts to redevelopment, refurbishments, extensions, basically fix it, increasing the value of standing assets.
Yeah, and where do you see the opportunities if you look across Europe?
Well, it's more like a micro question, I think. I mean, it's hard to say where do you see refurbishment demand in Europe. I think it depends very much on the location, depends very much on the local market conditions. It also depends very much on the questions and the trends we just discussed before on online, retail, etc. Whether the real estate fits, let's say, in the changing dynamics on the retail side and the consumer side, where basically monofunctional retail places are evolving in the direction of more like multifunctional marketplaces with retail, with food and beverages, with leisure, with culture, many different things. And of course the real estate has to be able to adapt that, whether that's on large regional level, big scale, or whether that's on convenience level, neighborhood, where you're talking about individual units. But the task from a purely model point of view is pretty similar.